Hello, and thank you for your interest in purchasing a home in Neon Chrome, the largest habitable building ever constructed. Neon Chrome boasts incredible amenities, round-the-clock security, and ample common spaces in which to cower should our 140-year-old leader, the Overseer, decide that your trust score is too low and you must be evicted. There's no shortage of activities, such as partaking of in-house delicacies, meeting the neighbors, or remodeling your living space. The most important thing to remember is that the rumors about the unknown hacker are exaggerated, and you're perfectly safe at Neon Chrome. Welcome to Random Game Reviews. I put every game in the PlayStation Store into a spreadsheet and let a random number generator boss me around and tell me which games to play and review. This time, the RNG desires Neon Chrome. Welcome to a good old-fashioned cyberpunk dystopian future, where housing crisis doesn't mean supply shortages or unaffordable rent. It means your house is literally trying to murder you. You, the unknown hacker, will fight back by taking control of Neon Chrome's own employees? Slaves? All I know is that the assets you control emerge from a tube. Regardless, you'll crawl out of your tube and shoot your way to the top of the building, which will be slow going because each elevator only takes you up one floor at a time and there are no stairs. I would definitely hate living here. Not because of the robot spiders, because of the elevator thing. Neon Chrome is what is known as a twin-stick shooter. One stick aims your person, the other aims your gun, which really sounds like most games with guns, but this specifically refers to games that use this top-down isometric point of view. The perspective allows for more strategy than your generic shooter because you have the benefit of seeing what is behind any given wall and planning accordingly. This is the first twin-stick shooter I've played, so I had a bit of difficulty learning how to aim, but got into the swing of things fairly quickly. You have three modes of attack: firing your gun, melee attacks, and special attacks such as shooting rockets, firing in a circle around you, and lobbing grenades. The game gives you several different choices in character class, which determines your starting ability, and a multitude of different weapons to try, but I found that the minor differences between your character and arsenal choices weren't enough to make the various playthroughs feel all that distinguishable from one another. That's alright though, because the controls are tight and the gameplay is chaotic enough for it to work even when the biggest difference you're noticing is the rate of fire for your gun. There's a decent variety of enemies you'll face, each requiring their own tactic to deal with. For several of the enemies, the go-to tactic is back the f*** up and keep backing the f*** up until it's dead. If you decide to give this game a go, I'm certain you'll quickly identify your least favorite enemy type. Mine is the guys who shoot rockets at you. I had to constantly resist the urge to just fly through levels guns blazing, because it's easy to run into more heat than you can deal with if you don't take it slow. And slow and steady happens to be a solid strategy due to how absurdly unaware the building's security can be of what's going on in their immediate vicinity. They'll stand with their backs to you, apparently guarding the far wall in a room, or not notice when you gun down the person standing right next to them. They're just dumb. The spider bots are pretty proactive though. The best possible security would just be tricking out every floor with these laser barriers, since they're definitely the adversary I struggled with most. The game also has a few set-piece boss fights that break up the regular procedurally generated levels and special challenge rooms. The boss fights are pretty fun and tense the first few times you attempt them. I had a sweaty-palmed showdown with the centipede that I'll remember as my most exhilarating moment with this game. However, once you've figured them out and beaten them a couple of times, it becomes a lot less exciting. In general though, I found Neon Chrome to be super fun to play. It's a little bare bones mechanically, but the levels are fully destructible and leave lots of highly explosive items strewn about to tempt you into blowing shit up. In your travels through Neon Chrome, you'll unlock and install a variety of cybernetic enhancements that make you a more effective killing machine, and you'll collect money to spend on permanent stat upgrades between runs. This is crucial because the difficulty scaling in this game is pretty wacky. The first two sets of levels are pretty much a cakewalk, but I was stuck on the third set of levels for a really long time. I might have stayed stuck forever had I not discovered my one true love, the railgun. Ah, railgun. You're the best. It was a little disheartening to have to spend hours grinding to get past a set of levels, so my biggest note for this game would be to make the difficulty progression a bit more linear. Thankfully, when you die, you can start back at the beginning of the highest set of levels you've gotten to, rather than going all the way back to the start. Neon Chrome also has a co-op mode, which makes it a bit more of a party. You can have up to 4 players going at it, and your friends can just hop in where you left off in solo mode, which is great for when you need to call in some backup. I found the game to be plenty fun in solo mode, but I think it's greatly improved when playing with a buddy. When the RNG, who is kind of like my overseer, assigned this game to me, I honestly thought it was going to be trash based on the screenshots. It employs decent lighting effects, but the game looks like it could have been released in the 90s. The enemies are at least visually distinguishable from one another, so it's not a total train wreck, but it's just not very visually polished. But that's why we don't judge books by their covers. Despite its visual flaws and relative simplicity, I'm still working my way through this game. I couldn't beat Neon Chrome before my deadline for the review. I'm about here. Am I gonna come back and beat it though? You bet your buns I am. It's difficult to properly review this game since I haven't played other twin-stick shooters. Am I just easily impressed because I never played this genre? Will I one day play a way better one that makes Neon Chrome look like a twin-stick shooter for babies? Perhaps. But one thing that a baby couldn't appreciate is the moral quandary at the center of this game. As the unknown hacker, you take control of people's bodies. People who have names, like Bobby Malik or Raphael Flatline. It's these unwilling vessels who carry out your bidding. It makes me wonder what the ethics of all of this are. Am I a Raphael Flatline corporate soldier? Or am I just simply number 12? One in a long succession of pawns to be thrown into a hail of bullets in order to take down the overseer. Does the life of Raphael Flatline mean so little? It's time to answer the question, would I play this game if I were not destined to do so? For Neon Chrome, the answer is yes. Neon Chrome suffers a bit in the graphics department. I wouldn't say it looks bad, but it definitely looks basic and kinda dated. Thankfully, the looks don't distract from the simple but solid gameplay. The controls are tight and the action is fun and satisfying. Neon Chrome is bogged down by its uneven difficulty progression, and forces you to replay sections so many times to grind stat boosts that it harms the overall replayability of the game. But although I don't have much to compare it to, Neon Chrome taught me that I like the twin-stick shooter genre, which must mean that it's at least, if nothing else, pretty good. Thanks for joining me. I know this is going to sound pretty dorky, but I have a YouTube banner which has characters from each episode of Random Game Reviews populating a character select screen, but now I'm out of room and have to start kicking people off of it. I plan on doing that by letting the people in my Discord channel vote on who gets the boot. If that sounds even vaguely amusing, join us on the Discord server. And if you're the kind of person who watches this far into the video, you should probably come hang out on the Discord server anyways. The link is in the video description. Until next time, pour one out for Raphael Flatline, and I'll see you soon on Random Game Reviews. A giant thanks to my Patreon subscribers. I went to Twitter to figure out who could come up with the most cyberpunk sounding character name, and that was the titular hero with Jackal Zigzag. Now if you'll excuse me, I am off to write some fanfic.